Guys, I know it's been a while. It's been too long, I suppose. But it's just been so long because I've had a lot going on and I haven't really had time. Um, but figured I should just shoot at least one video, you know. And I figured I've been getting into comics lately. I might as well shoot a collection video again because I've gotten a lot nicer comics in the last few months, and kind of want to show them to you guys. And yeah, so here we go. I'm gonna start off with my Amazing Spider-Man collection because, as you can see, I have a lot of books to show you guys, and that's just my Spider-Man books. Not all my Spider-Man. This is just Amazing Spider-Man, going up to 360, what, 3 or 4, and then it skips to 500, but you'll see that. So a lot of it is early stuff, not a lot of late stuff, and yeah, I figure if I'm gonna shoot another video after this, which I plan on, I'm gonna shoot the rest of my key books. So yeah, this is gonna be a long video. I'm probably gonna split it into 2 parts. So let's go ahead and get started. Up first, you can see my oldest Spider-Man in this video, as it was back then, is number 3. It's still missing front and back cover. That hasn't changed. So I'm just glad to have it. So, because even in this shape now, this book is going up in price. So, yeah, on to the next book. I recently got Amazing Spider-Man number 4. Cover is attached. It's in really good shape. Aside from 2 smudges you can see there, and there's some chipping. You can see it down this side. There's some chipping, and someone wrote 20 cents on it. Other than that, it's a pretty solid book. So you may know, first appearance of Sandman. Very glad to have this book. Next one I have is number 6, first appearance of the Lizard. I mean, it's in beautiful shape. The only thing really wrong with it is, if you can see, there's some chunks taken out there. And the cover is unfortunately detached. There's almost no spine damage, but the cover is detached, which is very strange. And if it wasn't detached, I mean, it would shoot up the price of this book because it's in phenomenal shape. But it presents well. I mean, you can't even really tell it's detached. So, still very glad to have that one. Next up, number 7. As you can see, the top has been ripped off. Comics, comic shop owners, newsstand owners, they would do that, send it back and get their money for the comic book back. So obviously this is one that didn't sell, and the rip is not limited to just the cover. It goes through a few pages. As you can see, there's some tape running there. It goes through a few pages. So that's unfortunate, but for the price I got it at, I can't complain. At least some of the cover's still there, and the back cover's intact. It's in pretty good shape still. Second appearance of the Vulture, for all of those wondering. Moving on. Number 9, the first appearance of Electro. Wanted this comic for a long, long time. And managed to get one in fairly good shape, actually. So, very, very glad to have this and add it to my collection. It's in beautiful shape for the most part. The only thing really wrong with it is up here. You can see there's some pretty heavy creasing. None of them are like really thick creases, but still there. Other than that, the beautiful book. Staples nice and beautiful in the book. Almost no cover damage aside from that. So, glad to have that one. Next up is number 11, the second appearance of Dr. Octopus. It's in beautiful, beautiful shape. Very glad to add this to my collection. Got it for a really good price as well. So, next up, number 12. Not in that great a shape. There's a spine split on the bottom running almost all the way up. You can't see it, but like running up to about there, there's a spine split. and there's, as you can see, a smudge right there, right over Spider-Man's face. So it's a shame, but I mean, I got it for $40 at a local comic shop, so couldn't pass it up. Number 12, third appearance of Doc Ock. So next up, we have number 13, first appearance of Mysterio. Cover is detached on this one as well, unfortunately. And unlike number 6, there is actually some spine damage on this one, so you can see. And just some all-around creases and just slight bits of damage here and there. Not too bad, though. Not too bad. So there's number 13. Next, we have number 14. Just got this in the mail a few days ago. Extremely happy to finally have this book in my collection. This is of course the first appearance of the Green Goblin, as well as the first time the Hulk and Spider-Man actually meet each other, with an appearance of the Enforcers in here as well. Very, very glad to have this. Been wanting this book for quite a few years now, so glad to finally add this to my collection. Here is number 16, if you remember seeing this in my last video. Again, this is the only crossover Daredevil made in his yellow costume. So very glad to have this, as well as the second appearance of the Ringmaster. Some writing, some chipping. Other than that, pretty good. Next up, number 17. Second appearance of Green Goblin. First appearance of the Glider, as well as his pumpkin bombs. So, just minor keys there, as well as a Human Torch appearance. So yeah, other than that, condition, not too great, but I'm just glad to have it. It's number 17 of the Amazing Spider-Man. Can't complain. Next up is number 27, the fifth appearance of Green Goblin, as well as the last time John Romita draws the Green Goblin. So, just a minor key there, just a little more trivia fact than it is key. But yeah, good story. It's also the death of the Crime Master. So, number 30, first appearance of the Cat. Who the Cat is, no clue, but first appearance of him, got it a few years ago, and couldn't turn it down. It was Spider-Man number 30 for like $10. So, next up, number 39. First time we find out who the Green Goblin is, and first time the Green Goblin finds out who Spider-Man is. As well as first John Romita artwork for Spider-Man. So, yeah, just of course a very classic cover. Next up, number 40, the origin of the Green Goblin. Love this cover. Love this cover. And just a great story. Next up, number 41, first appearance of the Rhino. Very glad to finally have this one in my book, in my my collection. I've been wanting this for quite a few years as well. I've been collecting comics since I was, as far as back as I can remember. So a lot of these books are, especially the early ones, are going to be ones that, I've been wanting for many years, like number 14, number 41, books like that. Some other ones, though, I just found out about recently. But for the most part, it's not in too bad a shape. As you can see, there's some spine damage. Staples are placed awkwardly. That's not restapling. That's actually where the staples were. So, normally when they're there, it presents problems for the book. So, next up, we got number 43, the origin of the Rhino. This is just in fantastic shape. I got it off eBay in a bundle with my number 41. So, but yeah, it's like I said, it's in immaculate shape. It'd probably come back, if I were to send it to CGC to grade it, it'd probably come back at 8.5, 9.0. It's beautiful shape. Great price for both of them as well. Next up, we have number 44, second appearance of the Lizard. Very, very glad to finally have this one. I think it's strange, though, his first appearance is number 6 and his second's 44. Huge gap there, but it happens. As you can see, there's quite a few tick marks on the spine and a huge crease going down the middle. My guess is it's the famous subscription crease. That would happen to comics all the time where they fold it to put it in the envelope to send it to you. So, yeah, next up we have number 46, first appearance of the Shocker. So, very glad to have this one finally as well. Not in too bad a shape. Next up we have number 50, very, very iconic Ramita cover, very iconic, as well as, of course, the first appearance of the Kingpin. So, yeah. Very glad to finally have this book, because as I was watching YouTube of people having their collections shown, it seemed everyone had this book but me, so I'm glad to finally actually have this one. Only thing really wrong with it is there's some damage here and there on the spines, some creases, and the centerfold is detached, unfortunately, which was not mentioned in the listing. However, for the price I got and what I got, I could forgive it, because I got not only this, but I also got this in a lot. Number 51. So, 51's in immaculate shape. It's in great shape. The only thing wrong is there's a little bit of a misalignment. Not a spine roll, this is an actual misalignment, which happened a lot, unfortunately. Not as common in the Silver Age as it is the Bronze Age, though. Next up, we have number 66, an appearance Mysterio. It's in pretty good shape. Got it a few years ago, early Spider-Man. So, number 101, first appearance of Morbius. Very happy to have this book. Got this from my local comic shop as well for a great price. Great shape as well. So yeah, glad to have this. Next up, we have number 102, The Origin of Morbius. This is a square-bound book, so it's going to be a little bit harder to find in good shape. Kind of like Giant Size X-Men number 1. Lizard appearance as well. Same with 101. Next up, we have number 108, signed by John Romita. So if you saw my last one, you saw this one. We have number 114, the second appearance of Hammerhead. It was cheap, and I just wanted a book with Hammerhead in it, and it's in pretty good shape.